on, all my gamers, all my Genshin gamers? So today I'm going to be doing a review of 5.1. You know how I normally do the How Good Is series, but today I'm going to do it differently. I am not going to separate it into pros and cons because this is actually kind of a long story. So I think I'm going to start doing these this way from now on, where I kind of go through the story and give you things that I do like, things that I don't like. I won't be going through the entirety of it, and you're going to hear especially why in the beginning, but I'm going to give you guys some key points that I think are really important in this story, and I'm just going to give my thoughts on them. First and foremost, Kinich and Kachina are not voiced. And on top of that, there have actually been, I feel like there's a bit of mixing problems when it comes to this voiceovers, because every time Citlali or Maulani would talk, it would just static and hurt my ears. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a mixing thing or a mastering thing, or is it because they record at home, or it's just, I'm assuming it's a mixing thing, and probably just by the way that they and then how they recorded it and the different types of mics and stuff like that, because I don't know if they recorded it, if Citlali and Maulani were in the same studio, or if they recorded it from home. I don't know how VAs kind of work today. It was a big problem for me personally. I think it kind of hurt when I would listen to Citlali talk. And then the next thing I want to talk about was Shalonen's voice. Of course, I play in English because I'm not going to read all that. But Shalonen's voice, I think it was hit and miss for me. I think so. In a ways, it did fit in a way that I liked it, but there were also times where I'm like, she's kind of sounds like she's falling asleep. It's just kind of whatever. I wasn't the biggest fan in certain places, but I think for not too bad. I've heard worse. Daniel was worse. Dun Hung on release was worse. So, I mean, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, because Dun Hung right now, as the game ran on, his voice actor, because that's his first credit, he got a lot better. So I'm just gonna give her that benefit. I'm gonna give her that leeway because I gave it to Daniel. I gotta give it to her. Now, here's where I might actually lose a lot of you guys, and you guys might be pretty pissed when I say this, but man, the first 40 minutes. And maybe even just that whole first half of Beyond the Smoke and Mirrors, that whole quest, it was kind of useless, and it was just a yap fest, bro. Oh my god, why did they talk for so long about useless shit? A lot of it was just Auroron coming into the story, and he's escaping, and he's, Granny Citlali's trying to find him and stuff like that. It was just super obnoxious how long it was. I really thought it just didn't need to be that long. Like, if you guys skip the entirety of Beyond the Smoke and Mirrors, you're not going to miss a lot. Maybe come back in when the captain's in there, and then after that, you can zone out again. But, however, I will be saying this. Citlali absolutely makes this quest. She is so funny, and she is voiced so well. I don't know who Citlali's voice actress is, but she did an amazing job with her. She made that character so funny, bro. I love Citlali whenever she's on screen or whenever she's yelling at people and being a granny. It honestly is one of my favorite parts. She's one of my new favorite characters. I love Citlali, bro, especially when she gets drunk. It's just, it's so funny, bro. And then she's ordering Auroron around and punches him at one point. It's pretty great, bro. It's pretty nice. And Auroron honestly wasn't what I was expecting from looking at the drip marketing, because of course the drip marketing doesn't have any voices in it. It's just gonna be, the character, what he does and stuff like that, a little backstory about him. Auroron wasn't what I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be a brooding, edgy, what do you know about me kind of guy with a deep voice, and no, he's not. He's kind of a dumbass. He's kind of like almost not childlike, but he doesn't really know how to not do things, but the way he talks, he sounds like someone he's kind of like a country bumpkin, I guess you could say. No, maybe, I don't know, because he was raised around Citlali, Granny Citlali. He calls everyone he meets a granny or a grandpa. I don't know why, but he has his moments. I kind of like them. I definitely like him later on. But in this, it was just a surprise. It's like when I heard Caesar King talk, I thought Caesar King was going to be super mature and, telling you how it is. But instead, she's all over the place. But that's kind of all you really need to know about the first half. It's whatever, to be completely honest. And then that's where the Rainbow Destined to Burn starts. And man, we go from a yap fest that you could fall asleep to absolute pedal to the metal. And that is probably my favorite part. This is probably one of my favorite stories so far. It just becomes this shonen anime. It's pretty cool. So you go into this cave where you go and meet, I don't even remember what it is, but you meet the captain there and Aurora, and you stop their plan, and Aurora almost gets his body taken over and almost dies because his soul is incomplete, and a shockwave that comes from the guardian of Natlan, it disturbs him because his soul isn't complete, right? And so instead of dying, he rises up, and of course, it's a cool anime moment. Auroron gets his ancient name, becomes Awakened Auroron, and it's pretty cool. So, like, if you aren't a big fan of shonen anime tropes, you might not like this. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm all about it. I just enjoy it. It's a good time. So there are huge lore drops with this. It turns out that the Capitan, he's actually from Conria. He is a survivor of Conria. And that's the reason why you don't see his face or any part of his body, is because although he is cursed with immortality, his body in a way isn't, if that makes sense. So his skin and everything is peeled off. That's why the Capitan has a face mask and stuff like that. Somehow it doesn't affect Dainsleif. We don't know that yet. That's for a future story, I'm assuming. But for right now, that's all we really know about the Capitan. And the worst part about this story is the Capitan. And it's not because he sucks or anything like that. It's because he's a badass. He's really cool. He's got a sense of justice. He has a plan, not just for the Gnosis. He has a plan just to save Natlan. That's what he wants to do. He wants to save the people, and I hate that because it makes me like him. I'm on my it's on site with every Fatui member, but more and more of these Fatui members I'm actually liking, and the Capitan might be my favorite over. I think I still like Mommy Chino more because she's hot, but man, the Capitan, he really shines in this story, and he's really cool. I hate that I had to say that. But as soon as you get back, you go back to the stadium, all out war breaks out, basically. So this is where, man, this part it's a pretty long part. I'm not going to lie. It's about an hour and a half of a war, like a campaign. And it is, man, it goes like a roller coaster, and you're just going up the whole time. So it's just, first you're kind of, let's take out these abyss pylons. It is what it is. We're going to save some people, maybe a few casualties. It's going to suck, but then it's slowly more and more, I guess the abyss finds out how much they're actually not prepared. And so the battle starts getting worse and worse in the Abyss's favor, and it starts to feel pretty useless, because the more you go on, it gives you a count of how much you've helped and how many people have died, and you're just seeing the numbers go up and up and up of the deaths of people. It's kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of gives you a hopeless feeling in a way that I really like. I really like the way that it actually makes you feel the power of the Abyss. And then there's a break in between the campaign where there's a cool fight scene. You get to see Shalonen fighting alongside the Capitan. You get to see Awakened Auroron. And then everything goes to shit because the Abyss fires off these Abyss tumors that just can't be destroyed by normal means. And man, this is where it gets pretty dark, because with these Abyss tumors, they can summon Abyss pylons, which summons the Abyss endlessly. And so the numbers just skyrocket. I think it was about maybe 300, and it skyrockets immediately to 2,000. And all this time you're like running around in a balloon. And I feel like this is one part where this game, and I've said this about Honkai Star Rail, especially with the Hule story, this is where Honkai Star Rail, or this is where Genshin Impact is limited by its game type. because the balloon, as you're moving through it, you kind of see the destruction and the corpse is left by the abyss, but you just kind of see people laid out, and it hits. Like, don't get me wrong, the music, the setting, the darkness, it all pretty much hits, so you do get an idea of just how bad things have gotten. But as weird as this is gonna sound, you know, a little bit of maybe some mangled bodies, or, you know, some blood, literally anything would have made it hit just a little bit more. But I understand, because it is a gacha game, and, you know, we can deny it all we want, but it is for younger audiences, kids almost, maybe. But because of that, it is kind of limited in what it can show. But, you know, you kind of get the gist of what's going on. And then going on is probably the most brutal scene emotionally in a while, which is the death of Koichi. You know, you go in there, you almost feel like you can save her. You save her, you get to her and Chaska, and you save them from the abyss. You go up to Koichi, try to take out the abyss from inside of her because she gets infected again. Unfortunately, in a very, oh my god, it's a very, very brutal scene. It's so hard. It's so emotional. It's hard not to let it hit you, but Koichi does pass away, which causes Chaska to almost lose herself, but in keeping her restrained, she becomes awakened Chaska and gets her name bearer. And with that, that means the last name bearer is seen, or the last hero is chosen. And so I've seen this scene mocked or memed online. It's fine. You know, you can always meme anything. Memeing anything isn't cool, but, or isn't, not that it's not cool. Memeing anything is totally fine. You can do whatever you want. Just meme whatever you want, honestly. But I am a big fan of the scene of Malvika surrounded by the heroes in almost essentially like a Super Saiyan God ceremony. It's kind of cool. Like I said, this is like an anime tropey. It's a shonen anime in a Genshin story, so I thought it was pretty cool. And, you know, you have all the heroes around reciting, like, you know, they're reciting things given to them by their name bearers, and she gets ascended back into her godhood. I thought it was super sick. You know, it just reminded me of the Super Saiyan God transformation, which of course it gets ruined by Kanich, because Kanich's voice actor isn't voiced in this, so his dumbass doesn't say anything. Again, I understand why. You know, I completely understand. You know, voice actors are trying to be they're trying to replace voice actors with the AI, so I completely understand why they're doing what they do. I'm just saying it kind of ruined the moment. That's all I'm saying. Again, I understand, but it does ruin the moment. And then the war shifts because Malvika is pretty much raining down fire from wherever you see. She does a final tyrant rave to break the abyss eye in the sky. And that pretty much wraps up that part of the story. Now, I will say, like I said, it is a pretty much a shonen anime from the second part. So if you're going to like that, you're going to like that. I can't do the first part, bro. I don't know if it was because I was sleep deprived or something. Outside of Citlali's part, first part was a complete snooze fest. But if I were to do it without the first half, I think I would give it like an 8 on the story. It was just super sick. It's such a roller coaster of emotions, and I love the war campaign. It's really cool. The Super Saiyan God Ascension ceremony was really sick. The Capitan, I hate to admit it, he surprised me. I thought he was cool, but you know, is what it is. With the first part, I'd give it like maybe a 6.5 to 7. Without it, it's definitely an 8. It's definitely up there in the stories. It's a nice, what do you call it? It's a nice follow-up to 5.0 to continue the anime shonen arc. Pretty sick, I hope. I know the next part is going into the abyss and fighting them at their own place, and I can't wait for that, dude. That's gotta be cool. That's gotta have more shonen anime-esque moments. So I'm gonna be waiting for it, chat. I hope you guys stuck into the video. Tell me what you guys thought. What part did you guys like? What part did you not like? You know, if you're playing in English, did the silent moments take you out like it took me out? Anyways, chat, that's all I really want to talk about. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.